Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. We're going to go straight in. I'm too excited. I've got news to share. My GT3 is in this country. It has landed at the docks. Boys and girls, my car has been built.
So wait a minute. So it's Sheerness?
Yes. Well, great knowledge. Yeah. That's a man who's bought too many Porsches over.
Far too many, yeah.
So yeah, last update was, I have no idea when my car's going to be finished. It's stuck on the production line, no ceramics, no Bose audio, and no updates. But then we had this kind of provisional completion date, I think I can't remember what it was now, but whatever it was, it came and it was completed. And they were like, rolled off the production line. I got the little email from Porsche with a shot of my car on the production line with paint on and stuff. And Porsche Guildford, got a lovely call from Russell this morning. The car is in Sheerness, which means that really it will probably be at Guildford any day now. What does it mean for us as Seen Through Glass people? It will probably be on the channel mid-January, I think.
It won't be any
End
day,
January.
by the way.
It won't be any day?
It won't be any day, no. It'll go to Reading first.
Right.
And it'll be PDI'd.
Okay.
Because that's where all Porsche retail cars go. They go straight to Reading. They're PDI'd. And then they're distributed to the 5 other Porsche centres under the umbrella.
Oh,
basically.
okay, fine.
So
okay.
It won't go direct to Guildford. So I would say you're still another week or 10 days away before it actually gets to Guildford.
Which then takes us right into Christmas.
Correct.
And then, holidays and New Year, and then a big trip going on the channel at the beginning of January. So yeah, I am aiming to collect the car, or at least reveal the car to the audience, I think towards the end of January. So at least we now know it's happening. Because for a while there, I was like, this car just might never turn up. But it's actually finally happening. Do I need winter tyres? Is that a should I call Pirelli? Is that a thing?
What you're having Pirellis, yeah, not Michelin.
Yeah.
Right, so you're going to ruin the car. We've already spoke about this, but I'm pretty sure you can have winter tyres because Germany. Yeah. When I was thinking about this, Germany stipulate you have to have winter tyres in the snow or the bad weather anyway, right?
Well, in Italy, there are certain times of the year, certain roads where you have to have winter tyres or chains at least, and parts of Scandinavia.
Yeah.
But I wonder whether you need a winter wheel.
Well, that's what I thought. I don't know whether there's a fitment tyre that will fit your wheel. That's the problem. Maybe you've got to change the wheels and the tyres. I don't know, mate.
GT3 winter wheels.
Because I've never bought a track-focused car and thought for 1 second to put winter tyres on it. It's absolutely going to ruin this
if
car.
I'm collecting the car end of January, I'm not going to want to go, well, I better wait till spring till I can drive it.
No.
I'll go straight out. I want to
drive it then.
Go on some adventures. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I need winter wheels, but maybe I do. Here we go.
Where are you going?
Anywhere, mate. Anywhere I can. I think, hopefully, if the timing permits, I've got to look at all my schedules, my calendars. I would love to be the first thing to go down to the GP ice race, which is in Austria at the end of January. I'll need winter wheels there, winter tyres there, won't I?
If you said to me you were going to Spain, then I'd say don't bother.
No, I'm not going to Spain, mate.
Right.
But we've got to do some research, right? Russell, expect my phone call. Because I can't afford, I've spent all my money on this car. I don't think I can afford a different set of wheels. But I would bolt some winter tyres on. But P0s are pretty good all-weather, aren't they?
Yeah, but you've got Corsas,
I'm not getting Corsas, mate. I'm getting P0s.
Just normal P0s?
Yep, turbo tyres.
Yeah, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Well, they're like all-season-ish.
Yeah. So they're equivalent to Michelin P4S.
PS4S.
Yeah,
exactly. So that'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a Turbo S tyre.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It literally is what I'm putting on as Turbo S tyre.
So that'll be fine.
I don't need winter tyre.
Are you going to have that on all the while, that tyre? Or are you going to put the semi-slick on at some point?
I think in the summer, I might upgrade to a Corsa if I'm going to go and do a Spain or a mountain road trip somewhere in Europe.
But you're not going to put what should be on it, a Cup 2?
No. I'm not going to put a Cup 2. I'm not going to put a Trofeo or anything like that. Like I'm going to stick with the Pirellis based on my experience driving 992 GT3s on Pirellis. And obviously we spoke with Spike about it briefly, who'd done the same thing. He put the Turbo P0 tyre on. So I think I'll see how I go. The P0 stock turbo tyre is what's going on from day one, from collection. That's already been organised. Pirelli legends selling those tyres down to Porsche Gilverts. They'll be ready to be fitted onto the car.
So what tyres are on the car now? Corsas or?
No, it comes with Cup 2s. Comes from the factory with Cup 2s.
So you'll have a set of Cup 2s anyway?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, you will, yeah.
Unless Russell squirrels those away.
And you know why it comes with them Cup 2s, don't you?
Because that's the best tyre for
the car.
Yeah, but
So you're going to ruin it?
No,
you're going to drive 1 mile, you're going to ruin it?
No. This is such a stupid conversation. It's not one that I'm going to pursue.
Really?
My point being, I've made my decision, I've made my choice, and there are so many 992 GT3 and GT3 Touring customers and owners, actual owners, not stipulators like you, who have made this change and say that the car is better on the road with these tyres. So that's the direction I'm going in.
So will I change? Porsche,
will I change to the Corsas come the summer? Potentially. I think it would make sense. But let's see. I might find the comfiness of a P0 nicer year round. Just a bit squidgy. I like a squidgy car. I do. Anyway, that was news that I wanted to share with you because I've told you from day one that I was going to keep you posted on GT3 progress, and I wasn't expecting that update, but it has come through. And yeah, the car will be on the channel and in my hands end of January. Very exciting. Anyway, on a sort of negative Porsche note.
Oh, really?
Let's talk about that article which I shared with you, saying that Porsche apparently received the most, what would you call it, the highest unreliability rating of any manufacturer this year. Fair.
I don't really know how they would have established that, as in, is that customer service? Is that all included, or is it just the reliability of the cars?
It's the most unreliable car brands revealed. So Porsche in first with a score of 35.1 out of 100, followed by Land Rover, Jaguar, Alfa Romeo, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Vauxhall and Volvo. So let me see if I can see how they actually put this list together.
Because
so all the information is collated from 131,000 vehicle policies with the company in 2021-2022. The data represents only cars that are outside their manufacturer warranties, meaning the minimum age of the sample is 3 years. Maximum age for the cars included is the analysis is 10 years. Right. Okay, so now we can start to understand why this is a little bit skewed, because I would assume a 6-year-old Cayenne is a bit of a disaster.
And a Panamera.
And a 996 911, as I can attest to.
Yeah. That's over 10 years, isn't it?
Okay, fair. And we also know previous generation Range Rovers, some Jaguars. The list makes sense. I think people were surprised by Porsche because there's a lot of sort of theory or chat that, Porsche make a very reliable modern car, famously Porsche, German and solidly built. But I think those who've experienced it or know the truth know that there is unreliability, especially within some of the older cars.
Yeah. But there's lots of unreliable issues with all manufacturers, and they've all got their problems, mate. They are machines. But what I see every day, if I didn't see that list, if someone asked me today, what's the most unreliable car brand, I'd still say Jaguar Land Rover.
Are you surprised that Porsche are top of that list?
Well, it's 1 year out of how many years?
No, 2021 and 2022. but are you surprised that they're top of that list?
From what I see, yeah. Yeah, from what I see, for sure. But again, I know that Cayennes have a problem. Macans now, that older Macans, inherent problems are what have I done with Macans? Turbos.
Okay.
The AdBlue system.
Interesting.
It's a real common problem under the scuttle on the where the wipers are. There's an AdBlue system there that all gets corroded. Where AdBlue crystallizes and stuff like that. It's pig's wee, basically.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's what it is. But what it does is it corrodes all the elements away and all the sensors, and you have to replace the whole system.
Oh wow!
And they're on the shelf. There's always a common joke we have in the motor trade. If a part is ready and available and on the shelf, it's a common problem.
Yes, it's something that goes wrong all the time.
It's all the time, and that's a real common problem. Air suspension's another problem. Water ingress as well.
On a Macan.
On Cayennes more, and Panameras as well. That earlier Panamera is not very good electrical wise. So yeah, as some of that older stuff starts to get old, I can kind of understand the infotainment systems as well. They start to sod about now, the sat-nav system. So yeah, I don't sell them cars for all these reasons, man. Because they do have their problems when they start to get older. So yeah.
To be fair, though, I have seen quite a few people complaining about 992 generation 911s electronically. I know Henry's car barn had that Turbo S that was literally a Christmas tree in terms of the amount of lights that came on. I'm pretty sure Shami at Autopap, he had a 992 Carrera 4, Carrera S.
I can tell you why that all is as well.
Sorry?
I can tell you why that all is as well.
Go on, please.
Because I can, yeah.
Go on, I'd love to know.
Because the Volkswagen Audi group, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, decided to basically in-house make all their entertainment systems or their infotainment systems. Okay. So they do it all themselves now. They used to buy it in, I think.
From what, Bosch or something? Or
probably something like that. I don't know the exact, but they were bang on. But now they do it all themselves. That's why the Golfs and the Audis, all the infotainment systems are crap. And Porsche will use the same systems. They're all the same.
Interesting. So the internal computers, the actual electronics.
They're no good. They just break. Just freeze up. And RS6s, because Range Rover inherently were terrible for that because they make their own systems. They're very complex. They are actually a little bit better now.
Because they're Bosch now. So all
really?
of the
there you go,
all the flying cameras and things like that, all that technology that all those new Land Rover products have, that's all from Bosch.
There you go. It'll work then. Yeah. So maybe that's why. Maybe some of it's the infotainment system on some of the cars that they've started to make. Because
I'd be interested to know, that those are accounts from Henry and from Shami that I've sort of seen on Twitter and not spoken to either of them specifically in depth about. But from memory, they were electronic issues. I'd be interested to know if anyone's having like mechanical or other issues, because I don't hear about Porsches having gearboxes falling out or like clutch issues or whatever, like proper mechanical issues.
It's very rare now that modern cars in general, mate. I mean, engines and gearboxes, in my experience, over the many years that I've done this job, engine and gearboxes don't go bang anymore. Yeah. It's not really a thing. I mean, obviously, if you run them out of oil or you do something that you shouldn't be doing, then yeah, they will go bang. But in general, the two major component parts of a car now, it's normally all the stuff around it that goes wrong: turbos, alternators, suspension, stuff like that. In general.
Speaking of running it dry of oil, it's still one of my favourite jokes from a TV show. I actually can't remember the name of the show, but it was about an American kid who'd gone to college and he was driving around in a Mini and he breaks down in his Mini and his dad comes to help him and says, "Oh, well, did you put any oil in it?" And he went, "Dad, don't be stupid. They put oil in at the factory." And I was like, that is my sister. But, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's not something that I'd really thought about, obviously, with the GT3, potential reliability issues or electronic glitches. But I saw that list and I was like, oh, God, I hadn't really thought Porsche was unreliable. And then, obviously, the accounts that I'd seen on Twitter talking about it. Maybe the halo around Porsche's, sort of reputation of being these sort of super well-built and super reliable cars is fading a little bit as some of the products get a bit older, or now, as you say, some of their infotainment systems or electrical systems start to wane. I mean, do you think it would ever turn people off?
Well, if they don't get a hold of it, possibly. But what we also have to understand is that the more a manufacturer makes, the more problems they're going to have.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because actually, if you look back at the list, most of them are big number manufacturers. Audi, Mercedes, BMW are all there just because the amount of cars that they're making. Correct. As well. That doesn't necessarily mean that all of them are absolute crap.
Yeah.
But if you're turning over that or producing that many cars, there's going to be problems there.
Yeah. If you're looking for a percentage of most unreliable cars, I'll tell you what will really definitely be in there.
Pagani.
Well, I don't know whether they go wrong.
Can't exact.
But definitely McLaren and Aston Martin.
Oh my God! No,
as a percentage, if you look at percentage of what they sell and what goes wrong. And I tell you what else, mate, although I've never really had any problems, Ferrari will probably be in there as well.
Yeah,
because of what they make. They don't make a huge amount of cars, but they do have their problems.
I think we've spoken about this before, how that maybe the reason that people don't bang on about Ferrari reliability so much anymore is because of the incredible service pack and warranty pack that you now get.
It's the best.
The cars might still be as unreliable or as just stricken with issues as before. It doesn't impact the owner as much because now you just send it back to the dealer and just get sorted.
Correct. Not just that, is that people don't use them every day.
Sure.
As well, they don't. An average Ferrari owner probably does 1,000 miles a year. We're talking about 911s and cars that do 15,000 miles a year and stuff. So which is what Porsche. It's the everyday sports car. It's someone for every day. So the fact that they do make a lot more cars now, especially, and I said this to you many times, that I think Porsche have got good from 2010, which means if they've got good, that means they sell more cars, which means more breakdown, which means that list is bang on, which means I was right again. Can we end again? Can we go? I've done it again.
No, you haven't. Today's episode has very kindly been sponsored by Masterworks. Now, Tony, I have a question for you. Aside from cars, actually, I don't even think you invest in cars, but do you invest in anything aside from cars?
I do invest in cars.
Not very well, but anyway.
Well, I made a living out of it.
Just about.
Yeah.
But anything outside of cars?
Property, occasional watch.
Okay. Have you ever considered artwork, like paintings?
No, I haven't actually.
Well, it's a world that, I'm not very knowledgeable about, but I'm aware of, firstly, because actually it's a world my dad's involved with, but secondly, because I always see those articles being like, Picasso sells for $100 million. And I'm like,
amazing.
God, I just wish I could find a Picasso lurking around
or
in my
$100 million.
Yeah, just sell for a huge amount. But I'm often priced out of that market. But this is where Masterworks lets people like me or Tony into the world of sort of art investment. This isn't NFT or crypto. This is Monet, Picasso, Banksy.
These are the big hitters.
These are the big hitters.
These are the big boys.
I'll be honest, those are probably the only three artists that
really?
I actually know. I'm not very good. But as you said, they're the big ones. Do you need to know any others?
No.
But yeah, it's fully legit, securitized through the SEC. So this is proper investment. And essentially, you can buy shares in these paintings.
Amazing.
And then as and when Masterworks might sell these paintings, if they sell for profit, you get a share in that profit. Their most recent sale I've got up here on the screen was in November and got a 13.9% net return for investors, which that sounds pretty good to me, I've got to be honest. That means the last three sales have been 17, 21 and 33% net return for investors.
21 and 33% is good in any business. Full stop, mate. That's a lovely return, that is.
It's got you interested, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. 33%.
And you get to go to dinner and be like, actually, I am an investor in Picasso. You can sound way more credible than maybe we do. We go, I actually invested in a Jaguar. Which bores people completely. But as I say, Masterworks very kindly sponsored this episode. They've got over 500,000 users and have had over $650 million invested on the platform. So they are proper people. It's not some kind of iffy, weird, new setup. This is a proper platform giving you a proper opportunity to get involved with proper art, but at a more affordable point. They've actually had so much demand, they're now adding at least a painting every week. Some of their paintings have sold out in literally minutes. So yes, if you're interested, if you want to find out more, check out Masterworks. Link is in the description below. Thank you to them for sponsoring this episode. From one brand that tops that list to another brand that's very near the top of that list, my beloved Jaguar. Because this week I've been driving around in the F Pace SVR edition 1988.
No idea.
So it's celebrating that iconic XJR9, which was a Jaguar. You'll know it because it was the silk cut Jaguar, so purple, white, and gold. Won Le Mans, won the World Sports Car Championship with Martin Brundle. Like a proper iconic Jag. And I love Jaguar.
Here we go.
So take everything I'm going to say now with, I love Jaguar.
Basically, he's going to contradict himself again.
Well, no, but strange to celebrate that iconic sports car on an SUV.
Well, that's what they sell most of, mate.
There we go. But do you know what I mean? So like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it would make sense as an F-Type.
Yeah.
But the F Pace is what they sell the most of. It's an unbelievable product. I adore the F Pace SVR. I think it punches so far above its weight. I think the interior is fantastic. I think the dynamics, I think the performance, I think the pricing, bang on. So, of course, as you say, that's why they've chosen the F Pace to do it on.
The pricing isn't bang on.
I think it's bang on, 78 grand.
But it's not, plus options.
But very few options you can do on an F Pace SVR.
Right.
If you spec up an F Pace, unless you went for some crazy SVO paint like tourmaline brown. Hello, brown F-Type. But yeah, unless you went crazy, you're at 80, you're like at 82, 83 grand max.
Right. Okay.
You've got an answer for that?
Not really.
No,
because
it's great value.
But it isn't, because no one buys them. So it can't be that good value because everyone would buy them.
It's overlooked. Go on. I agree. I admit it's overlooked. Go on.
It's hugely overlooked. I think it's a little bit underrated, but maybe there's a space problem inside. It has actually got a stupid engine for that size car as well, especially the SVR. But the F-Pace in general doesn't sell anywhere near as good as you can't compare it to an Evoque, can you? It's a bigger
No. It's X5 size. It's between X3 and X5. If there was an X4 actual, it's in between those.
No, it's X3 size.
It's not. It's bigger than X3.
Do you think it's bigger than X3?
I know it's bigger than X3.
Well, you've got an X3.
I can directly compare. It's not as big as an X5, but it's probably it sits somewhere in between X3 and X5.
In between. Well, then from that respect, then it's even better than an X3 if you're just looking for space.
Yeah.
But everyone will buy an X3.
Well,
so did you.
It's the inherent Jaguar badge issue.
Yeah.
Where, it's same as the XE or an XF. People just like to look to the German rivals. And I'm sure reliability plays a part of that. But what I'm saying is I think that's because the first gen F-Pace, and not just SVR, did let itself down in terms of the interior. The design of the interior, the infotainment systems, the equipment. When you're entering into that SUV space, you need to be right out there. You need to be punching from day one. And now this new facelift has come out, which is on a level, I think, as a Range Rover Sport. Like, it's basically bang on the same. So many shared components and parts anyway, but at really not half the price, but at least 2/3 of the price. So you can make a saving. You're still getting a very similar experience. The maneuverability of that F-Pace has been fantastic. I've been driving it in and around town. It's a bigger car than my X3, but my God, you can literally just twist and turn it everywhere. Okay, who needs an SVR? This is a point that I've banged on about on my channels for years. Super fast SUVs, I don't always think make a lot of sense, but each to their own. As a car with that engine, it's awesome. It sounds great, looks the bomb. So it does get overlooked, and I think it punches above its weight in terms of value.
All right. So I'm going to say a couple of things now, which you've just come out your mouth. Super powerful, big SUVs make absolutely no sense, but you'd have one of them Cadillac Escalades, which is the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. Yeah. That's number one.
Okay.
And secondly, you've half hit the nail on the head with the SVR, with the F Pace SVR, that Jaguar Land Rover make a rival for that car, which is more money that everyone goes and buys, and that's the Range Rover one.
Yeah, Range Rover Sport. Yeah.
So, and it's more money.
Yeah, much more money these days.
Yeah, but everyone buys it because that's the car to have.
Well, because that's the badge you want.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, and I think if you're in the 80 grand mark for SUV, X5 or Q5. What's
Macan GTS.
Macan GTS.
Macan Turbo be there.
I think they just win over, unfortunately.
Of course.
But Jag has that problem throughout their range and always has as a mark. When they're competing against the Germans or the Japanese or whatever, they will always struggle. But that's where I think people are getting it wrong, because as a car, it's actually fantastic, and it's just one of those ones that people won't consider because of the other options.
Fair. And this is what comes right straight back round to what we've always said. what I've said before is that it's one of the reasons why Jaguar are going all electric, because they don't sell any petrol cars.
Well, I mean, for sure. And the P400e version, which I've driven, the F Pace, that's the one to have of that range, because it's a really nice engine with great hybrid technology. The car's still lovely. And my point about superfast SUVs, and I did say this in the video that's going to go live at the weekend, is that they're fun, they're great, but to live with is where I think they're a bit pointless, because fundamentally you're buying an SUV because you need the practicality, you want the comfort, you're probably doing lots of miles, and okay, the sporty one is for the guy or girl who needs a one-car garage, who needs to do it all in one, who still wants the stance, the presence, the badge, the sound. I get it. Like, I totally understand why it's built, and I understand why people buy them. But for me personally, I don't need it in my life because I'm spoiled and I've got other cars. So I'm like, I don't really care. Like Urus or Bentayga, I think doesn't sit up there, but Urus or Turbo Cayenne GT or DBX, I would happily just be in a Range Rover.
Me too.
Do you know, I want the comfort, or the Bentayga, or I want the comfort and the luxury. I don't need the performance in an SUV because, let's face it, if I get on that canyon road, I'm not going to attack it in an SUV.
Apart from a Urus, because you actually can.
Yeah, sure. The Urus is super impressive, but I'm still not going to really want to. I might be like, haha, I'm going to have some fun here and show my mates how fast this car is, but I'm not going to wake up on a Sunday morning and go, I'm going to go out for a drive in the Urus.
No, you're not. Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. But yeah, anyway, F Pace SVR, very good. As much as I love that car and I love Jaguar, not only do I not understand why they've celebrated the XJR9 on an SUV, I also don't understand why it's 20 grand more. It starts at 98 grand for what I can tell is literally purple paint that for me isn't purple enough.
Was that the car you posted on social media?
Yeah.
It's black.
It's literally black.
Oh, right.
unless it's such aggressive sunlight where you're like, oh, is this car purple?
Oh,
like,
right, okay.
You wouldn't tell. I've had to edit all my photos. Even then, it still looks black. And apparently gold wheels, to again hint towards the silk car.
Aren't gold.
They just look dirty.
Yeah.
So, like, you're paying 20 grand. Okay, fine, it's ticked every box and whatever. Like, it's, like, fully spec'd. But I just get the standard F Pace SVR in a nice colour and do the wheels yourself down at some place that can paint wheels. Like, I love you, Jaguar, and I would love to have a purple F Pace SVR with gold wheels, but I'm not going to pay the 20 grand premium. I'm just not going to do it.
No.
And there's like barely any badges. It's not, do more is what I'm trying to say. If you're going to do a limited edition like that, just go full on, go all out, crazy purple, loads of gold, big badges, different interior. Just go full whack.
Well, that's what they've done, though.
No, it's not what they've done. They've played it really safe.
Right.
They've gone, no one's actually going to buy a really purple car with gold wheels, though. So we'll make it like a little bit purple and a little bit gold. And
we'll paint it black and say it's purple.
Literally. Because we are live streaming today, some of you may not know, we've obviously recently joined Recast, or added a Recast page to our portfolio of platforms as a podcast.
Our repertoire,
thank you. And one of the things we're going to be doing over on that Recast page is live streaming these recording sessions. And so we've actually been asking some people, some viewers of our live stream, to submit some questions. We had one come in from Ed Moses this morning, wanted to know about our driving in the snow stories, because it snowed here today in the UK. We all woke up covered in a bit of snow last night. Thank you very much. Sorry, need more of that coffee, don't I? So yeah, we woke up to covered in snow. You more so than me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Ed was just saying, what are some of our fun driving in snow stories? I don't think I have many. Do you have lots of do you have like great anecdotes about driving in the snow?
Not
really. What did you drive today?
An RS6, actually. Oh. Well, actually, that's quite a good comparison to an F Pace SVR.
Go on.
It's a big wagon.
Yeah.
It's 4-wheel drive.
30 grand more, but keep going.
It's luxury.
Yeah.
It's not 30 grand more list to list, though, mate.
What do they list at RS6?
Just over 100.
Yeah, 78, and it must be 108 for an RS6, isn't it?
But it's 78
to 100
plus options.
No, but you said list to list. Yeah, cheeky bugger.
Then it's 90 odd plus options for an RS6. Might be 91.
Price from 105 grand starts.
What for that for?
For an RS6.
That's gone up.
Yeah, like everything. So it's 30 grand more.
All right, 30 grand. You can have that one. Well done. That's the first
I'm so happy with
done me.
I'm so happy. That's the first time.
First time it's actually happened. And it's live.
It's literally going out live right now. No one can
Got
say
me.
that didn't happen. Okay, sorry. So go on. Good comparison or not?
Or not.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you do compare it, you've had an RS6
I know. I owned one.
as well.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
And can you believe I own one? No one ever remembers it. And you've been in the SVR.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you a question actually.
Go on.
Why didn't you, when you come out the RS6, why didn't you buy an F Pace SVR?
I wouldn't have bought the SVR because the same reason one of the main reasons I came out the RS6 was I just don't need that fuel economy in my daily. I just don't need that performance. Why didn't I buy a P400e? Because I had the F-Type coming and I thought 2 Jags in the garage, bit overkill.
Right.
Simply that. I think if I didn't have the F-Type, like and again, I'm revealing a lot about my video, which is going live this weekend, but I simply asked myself the question, of course, Vicky has the X3, right? That's the practical car.
Yeah.
So why don't I sack off the X3 and the F-Type and then get an F Pace SVR? Because then I've got both cars in one. I've got the practicality of the F Pace with the engine of the F-Type, and that's the daily I should have. That was and I was like, there's not really an answer as to why. That's like done.
So you've done yourself.
I've done myself, apart from the fuel economy, because obviously the X3 is a bit of it's the diesel, it's the M40d, and it's a workhorse. And Vicky puts like a fair few miles on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So anyway, so go on.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
so
how do you get on with the RS6? Because Ed wants to know. Come on, I'm going to ask this question.
So I love the RS6. I do love the RS6 as a car. It's lovely to drive. In many ways, I prefer it to an SUV. In some ways I don't. It's fast, especially not in today's weather, but in just normal everyday, apart from it being ridiculously bad on fuel, which it is just a really nice car. It's just a really lovely car.
How was it in the snow this morning?
No good. No good, mate.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's the same as a Q7 or a Q8. They're not very good in the snow either.
But what tyres has it got? I bet it's got some sporty tyres, hasn't it?
P0s on it, probably. Yeah, it will have Pirellis on it. Yeah, it's got Pirellis. Yeah. It's just not. It's
mine
just
had
not
weird.
Very good.
Mine had like Continentals or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Mine came with some odd tyres, I think.
Yeah, this has got Pirellis. But it's just not like if you go up any incline, and it doesn't want to go up.
See, that sucks, doesn't it? Because purely on a sort of Instagram level, which is embarrassing, RS6 is a car that you kind of want to drive to your ski resort, or you want to take up to a hotel in Scotland in the snow.
Chance.
Like, you want that imagery of like, here I am in my all-weather Beta, like, look at me in an RS6. But you're saying you're not going to get anywhere.
No chance. But that's like everything, mate. You wouldn't get there in an X5. You wouldn't get there in any of these sport utility vehicles, apart from a Range Rover. A Range Rover, you go anywhere. Defender, any Range Rover product, you will go anywhere in it, full stop. All the rest of them are just like, they're cars.
But I bet if you put some winter snow tyres on an RS6, you'd be fine. I bet it's a tyre thing.
Well, it'd probably be better, but you don't have to put winter tyres on a Range Rover.
No, totally fair. I agree with you there.
It's not just
you're right. The Range Rover would go anywhere. On any tyre, just absolutely live its best life. But I'm trying to think back to some of the snow tours, which was going to be my answer to Ed's question, is those have been the most epic snow adventures that I've had. And that, people take stupid cars out there. And I'm sure there was an RS6 one year and it coped very, very well. I mean, there was a Bentley Continental one year. I mean, there's stuff that shares similar kind of setups. So I think some right tyres, you'd probably be fine. But yeah, you make a good point that a Range Rover is capable enough, or a Defender is capable enough.
So we got some really a deep incline lanes, steep, deep, whatever, steep inclines near my work. For any of you that have been near my work, all know that in the snow it can be a disaster. I goes to go up this lane today in the RS6, knowing full well in a Range Rover I 100% would have got up there, because I've done it before in any Range Rover product. They just go up. I barely attempted it, mate. I went to go up and the whole car started spinning with the Quattro system. And I thought, actually, I can go further, but if I get halfway up and another car comes down, and I lose my momentum because it's a single track road, I then will definitely get stuck because it doesn't like it now. So I went around the other way. But as a car, though, I know you didn't really like it, but I love them. They look great.
They look amazing. They look amazing.
The road presence, because of the air suspension, they lovely glide down the road. Lovely. They're fast. They've got nice entertainment system, great stereo. You know, everything apart from the fuel economy. But you can't have everything. You can't have a big 600 horsepower V8 engine with carrying 2 ton and it be 40 to the gallon. It's, you know, you've got to have some compromise.
But all the other things you just mentioned, would you not also just get, or could you not get in an A6 55 TDI or whatever the equivalent would be?
It's not an RS6 though, is it, mate? It's not, you know, I
agree.
Understand,
I totally agree.
And for my life, like, I've used it all weekend. The dog's been in it. My daughter's been in it. We've been out as a family. And it is a great family car because it's got a massive boot. It's got some power. Like I know that sometimes they go a little bit under the radar. There was huge hype when they come out because it's an Audi RS6. But as a car to live with, apart from the fuel, obviously, it is a cracking car. It really is a good car.
You're definitely not wrong. My whole thing was I just don't need it. You know, it's uber cool. And you're right, it's not an RS6 in terms of how it makes you feel. And that's what it really dials down into. Because as you say, everything that you said is what's so nice about it actually would be even nicer in a less sportier model, because you wouldn't have the brittleness of the ride. It would actually be a nicer car to waft around in with the infotainment system and the sound system and all of those things. But it's not going to make you feel the same way. And the only way I can think about it, I picked up a new watch last week. Every watch tells the time, theoretically, but they make you feel differently. And an A6 diesel is not going to make you feel the same way as an RS6 does. But could it be more usable and give you the same levels of comfort and luxury and everything? Probably. Well,
I'm not sure about levels of comfort because I think it drives because of the different suspension settings and the air suspension on it. It drives lovely, the RS6. It does. It's not. It has got big wheels on it. It's got 22 or 23. It has got massive wheels on it. But you could almost, if you shut your eyes, it is almost Range Rover comfortable.
Oh no! I'm not gonna take that.
It is. I think it's. I've just got out of it.
I know. I owned one.
So have I. Many.
Don't try and have one up.
I bet I've done more miles than one in you.
I'm sure you have.
There you go.
I'm sure you have. But you are also prepared or happier with compromise in terms of ride, and I wouldn't say an RS6 has the same ride quality as a Range Rover, nowhere near, but I would say it has an impressive ride quality for a car that is that sporty.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, Ed, I don't really have any amazing anecdotes from snow driving apart from the snow tours with Team Galag. I think they're doing another one next year, but I'm not going to be able to make it. But
I have definitely probably nearly crashed in the sno before.
Oh, easily. I mean,
100%. I nearly crashed in the dry.
Yeah. GP Ice Race, that's been epic snow adventures. I mean, no like amazing snow story for you.
Yeah.
So let's move on, because a couple of weeks ago you went and spec'd up a new BMW M2.
I did, yeah.
And you called me with actually a few fascinating revelations about your experience. So tell us everything. Where did you go? Are you speccing one up to actually buy one? Is it a personal car? Is it a company car, etc.? Go.
So I'm getting it from my friend's BMW garage. Okay. So it's a really, really early car. I will use it for a bit, but then it will go up for sale. It'll be like, for people in the trade or for people that understand the trade, it will be like a demonstrator car. So almost like if you're at a main dealer and you've got a demo car, I'll run it for a few months, get used to it. Sometimes I do that. I'll buy new cars, I'll run them for a while, get used to all the buttons, know what's what, know everything about the car, and then they'll go for sale. Especially
things that you're going to see a lot of, right? That's
correct.
What you said to me before.
Yeah. So, RS3s, RS6, all that. All the big German stuff. I had an early M3, if you remember, M4s. Always have done. So M2s.
So you know what you're talking about when they start coming back.
They start coming, bang on. Yeah. There you go. He does listen to me. Well done. Thank you.
Okay, so early car being when roughly?
So if you've been a little bit slow to getting your name down for one of these, you ain't getting one next year. No chance.
Wow.
Yeah. So there doesn't seem to be a huge. I mean, there will be, mate. It's a mass-produced car.
Sure.
In a minute, there will be millions of them. But as we speak at this moment, dealers aren't getting tens and tens and tens of them. So there's obviously a huge influx normally straight away of, I want one. Obviously, people will cancel. There might be the odd one available. But initially, they're all sold out.
Wow.
So you can't, if you went to BMW now and said, can I have one? You won't get one next
2024.
year. Yeah. You won't get one next year. No chance.
Okay, so to answer my original question, when do you hope to have yours?
June. Oh, sorry, I thought I told you.
Maybe you did. I wasn't listening.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's more like it.
No, do you know why? Because I was distracted. Somebody replied to, we got a viewer from Denmark.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, Rasmus991, watching from Denmark.
Lovely. Hello.
Howdy, mate. Okay, so talk me or retell me the sort of things that you learned during your specking experience, because I think you were surprised and I was surprised by what you said in terms of what the options are.
Not many.
Well, there we go. And price. So I guess you went black.
Of course, of course I went black. So I went black. Obviously, black wheels, stealth car. And actually, I've partly done that because of the lines on it. But if you stealth it out, I think it will look mega like that, because what a lot of people do always with BMW M cars, they'll always order them in the launch colour. Which was it the blue or it's red?
Oh, it's red for the M2.
It's like a
orangey red.
Yeah. It's called something. You can only get it in 4 colours at the moment as well. Okay. Red, black. There's a new like PAL blue. And I think you go grey as well. There's 4 or 5 colours. There's not many colours anyway.
Any cost on the colours? Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
No. Same, all same colour. So the list price of the car is about 61, 62 grand.
Okay.
Standard car. However, it does come with a lot of options. So it'll come with Harman Kardon.
Oh, okay. So you can't do a Tech Plus.
No. So
this is in the UK, by the way, because it may be that in other territories or countries that's different, but this is in the UK.
So there's only like 2 or 3 packs you can put on it. So you've got the carbon pack, which for the first time on an M2 will give you carbon roof. You've never been able to have carbon roof on an M2 before. We now can.
Lots of money, or
so the carbon pack is the roof, the skirts, some other little fancy bits, interior. And the seats, most importantly, you get the big carbon bucket seats,
like in the M3, M4.
Correct.
Okay.
Them same seats. That's a $6 grand option.
Okay.
So you've got that. Manual gearbox is an option. 500 quid they're going to charge you to have a worse car.
No. Wow.
Because I'm going to tell you another thing as well.
Can we have a conspiracy on that? Go on, tell me.
Right. So we've always spoke about this, and you always lean on to manuals, a proper driver's car, but that's because you drive like
a granny.
No, that's stereotypical. You can't really say that. Can you say girl?
A grandpa.
Grandpa. So like an old person.
Yeah, there you go. So 2022.
The car is 460 horsepower now, so it's a huge increase.
More than my 360.
I'd be way faster than that. It's a huge increase on the old car. Would have been 370-ish, I think, the old car. The M2, the comp's 420.
Okay, yeah, fine.
The M2.
Standard M2.
Standard
M2. Good point, yeah.
Right. So it's 100 horsepower more, basically, and £500 worth of torque as well. So it is too fast for a manual. In my opinion, it's too fast for a manual gearbox now. I know you've got a thing about manuals and you like manual gearbox. I nearly said something else then. Stop myself because I know we're live.
You're about to say something naughty, right?
I wasn't going to say something naughty. I was going to say something I really shouldn't be saying.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, the manual is just too fast. And I know you like a manual gearbox, but I think it's too fast now. You can have a comfort pack.
Okay.
Which will give you heated steering wheel, keyless entry, kind of other silly little bits. You sort of probably got to have
wireless Apple CarPlay or something stupid like that.
It's all standard.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it honestly, mate. It's a standard car. It comes with a lot of kit. There's not many options on wheels either.
Okay.
And there's a couple of other tiny little options that you don't really need. But apart from that, like I put the comfort pack and the carbon pack on my car.
Okay.
It was 70 grand.
So I was going to say, but that's not far off a fully loaded car, I guess. So I would just say
it's fully loaded.
A fully loaded car is 72 grand, maybe. Tick every box.
Tops.
Which is still a ton of money. But what's that? I mean, a fully loaded M3 M4 actually
90 and a bit more.
If not, yeah, I mean over 100. Would you not think for a fully loaded M4 now?
No. So a fully loaded convertible would be close to 100.
Fine.
A fully loaded coupe would be very early 90s, same as an M3.
So what do you think the price difference of a fully loaded car is? So 15, 20 grand?
Yeah, 20 grand.
20 grand.
20
okay.
grand.
Yeah.
So when you compare that to the old car, it's right. It's the old car was...
It's just everything's become more expensive.
47 grand and an old M car was 60 odd grand. So everything's just become more expensive.
Everything's become more expensive. It means that that's our entry level M car still, right? We haven't got anything below that. Obviously for the hot hatch, we're still at the M1, the sort of the baby M's. There's not a proper M hot hatch at these days, is there? So
I actually think the sweet spot for that, and it's funny how things change. The sweet spot will be the 240i.
Yeah, which you've said for a while, actually.
Yeah, I think because that will be the 40-odd grand car, which is a proper grown-ups car now. It really is a great car, that. So you got the M135 as your entry. It's not really an M car. It's like M Performance. It's a 300 horsepower hot hatch. They sort of have to make that because of Volkswagen Golf R and the S3s and all that. Then you step up into a grown-ups car, which is the new 240i, which is... some people, because of the looks, they think it's whatever. And then if you want a bit more power and a bit more speed, you then get into an M2. Then I guess at some point there'll be an M2 comp. And then if you want to be really brave, because I think it's different target audience now, mate. I think...
What? Go on, sorry.
It's the M car, the M4 and the M3. I really think they're trying to go for... like almost a 911 customer now.
I'm with you. I think we've both spoken about how the latest generation M3 and M4 have really softened themselves to open up their customer base
for the mass,
so that more people can get in those cars and enjoy them. They're not such blunt instruments. Where the M2 seems to have really taken the place of the old M3, what people think of as the driver's car. That is now the M2. That's the one you want if you're going to really go out and just have a bit of a blast. So two things. Firstly, do we not think that they'll offer some? I mean, it's tough to say in the current market, but some great finance deals on the M2 to make it still attractive, even if it is an expensive car on list, 70 odd grand, but potentially with some good deals.
People vote with their feet, don't they? So if they're not selling the product at that money, they'll reduce it. They'll introduce a lower APR for new cars. As we know, on new cars, APRs are quite often less than a used car anyway, because it's subsidised by the manufacturer. So there's more incentive for you to buy a new car. They'll keep an eye on it, mate.
Because that's why M2 Comp with the previous generation was so popular and so successful, is it was a very achievable or affordable first sports car, for so many people who were, I'm talking about circa 50k, so you still got to be doing well for yourself, but it was a car that you could jump into for 450, 500 quid a month with not a huge deposit, and you're getting a lot of car for that. Great badge, great performance, probably all you would need on a majority of roads.
For sure.
So I would assume that even though the M2 might be coming out at 65 or 70 grand, they'll try and not be too like 550, 600 quid a month.
I doubt it, mate. Because what people always have to understand is that you're then not borrowing 40 odd grand anymore. No matter what the residual is, you're not borrowing 40 odd grand, you're borrowing 65 grand.
Fair, totally fair.
So obviously, as most of you pay the interest on the balloon payment all the way through the agreement. So that still stands.
Yeah.
So
there's only so much they can do.
Yeah. And as well, you almost, from a consumer point of view, you really want to try and pay a bit more a month and have that balloon payment shorter or smaller, because you'll pay less interest over the term.
Yeah.
You don't want it high. And we always get it where people come in and say, oh, we want the balloon payment to be huge, but over the term, you're just going to pay more money. And nowadays, because of FCA regulations, we're now not allowed to mess around with balloons and interest rates. It's what you see is what you get. So what's advertised on a website or what a dealer says, because of manipulating on what we all used to get up to and customers what used to get up. The FCA have literally taken the powers from everyone and said, this is it now. This is it. So I would say an M2 now with 10% deposit will be 700 quid a month, mate.
Yeah.
It's just the way of the world. It's just,
I'm sure
it is just what's going to happen. So it is what it is.
So let's just pick up on the manual gearbox thing for a second.
Really? Do we have to?
Yeah. Let's not discuss whether it's good or bad for the car. Let's discuss the fact that they are charging for it, because, just bear with me for a second, 20 years ago, they would charge you for a flappy paddle gearbox, wouldn't they? That was the premium choice. Oh, you want a flappy paddle, so it's going to be an extra $2,000, I'm afraid. You know,
it's the other way round.
If you want the latest tech, blah, blah, blah. Now, our BMW going, the majority of M2 customers actually want them in a manual. So we've got an opportunity to make money here. Let's charge them 500 quid and we'll make a bit of cash.
I think it's the other way round.
Or are they going, no one wants the manual. It's a ball ache for us to put in. We haven't got them, so let's just push everyone towards DCT.
Correct.
Really?
That's the real reason,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, because back in the day, and as well, we all know, we spoke about manufacturing costs a little bit before. If it's a 50-50 split on manual and PDK or DCT, in a round, I know this sounds really stupid, it will cost the manufacturer more because they're doing half and half. If they say to ZF, or whoever the gearbox maker is, we want 10 million autos and we want 4 manuals, for instance, then you're going to pay a premium for the manual.
Economies of scale.
Yeah, you'll pay less for the auto. Or if they say we want 5,000 autos and 5,000 manuals, you'll get a better deal if you get 10 million autos. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's like if you've ever been to a DIY shop, or if you had to buy a weird screw for something and you go on a website and they say, right, here you go, you can buy these screws, but it's 4p a screw. You buy a pack of 100 and they're X amount of money, but actually to just buy one costs you £3.
Yeah.
You know.
So the cost to the manufacturer, it per unit, per gearbox, because most people they know will have the auto, they can go to the supplier and say, right, this is our order for auto box. What can you do us as a deal? This is our order for manual boxes. What can you do us? So, well, we're really sorry, Mr. BMW. We can't do you as much deal on that one because you haven't ordered halfway near as many.
Fair.
So then there needs to be a surcharge. And that'll be the reason why.
It's mind-blowing to me because, as I say, I'd have the manual, but
well, you got to pay, sir.
Well, you don't want to pay.
You can have it.
Okay, let's just check in on some of our viewers over on the Recast page. James Bond, don't think that's his real name. Actually, I know it's not because it's Dan Palmer. Is watching from Hammersmith.
Hello.
Enjoying the live stream. That's very keen. And also, we've got a few more questions. So, Peter Collette is asked, X3 M40i or X3 M40d? You are the man to ask. Well, Peter, thank you for tuning in and watching us live. You know what? Okay, so I don't want to go into this too in depth because I feel like maybe there's a chat we should do in a future episode. The M40i is an unbelievable engine, and I didn't realize that until I spent so much time in the M40d. So the smoothness of the M40i engine is pretty hard to beat. It's just a lovely peach of an engine.
Can I say something about that very, very quickly? You know that actual engine is in the car world up there with being probably the best engine in being manufactured as we speak today, because it's so usable and so tunable. And for what it goes in the range of cars that BMW make and other vehicles, other manufacturers, they say that engine at the moment is just about the best engine you can buy. Full stop.
Let's come back to it. I think maybe next week I'll do an update on has it been 6? It's probably been 6 months with the M40d, and I'll do a proper chat. I had marked it for a future episode, so it was Peter, wasn't it? Thank you for the question. That's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, because I've got some
it's
stuff
worth
to
discussing
about that.
on that for sure. Anyway, a few things to kind of finish up on. First, I got a very exciting invitation from Ferrari this week. Hello.
Have you?
I'm going on the Ferrari Puro Sangue.
Oh.
Which I can't, I need to learn how to pronounce. I'm going on the press drives with that early next year.
Oh.
So that'll be very exciting. A bit like with the 296 GTS, I have no idea how much time I'm going to get behind the wheel. I think it's quite an intense experience.
Yeah.
But really intrigued and excited. So hopefully my review of that will be coming out, I think in March, So let's wait and see. I'm intrigued by that car. I think it'll be fascinating for us to learn about it.
It's a rip-off, but okay.
Yeah, very, very high cost, and I think it's probably just a lifted Lusso, but either way, very exciting. So that's some exciting news.
Yeah.
And then maybe more exciting for this podcast, because it's going to give us a lot to talk about. Early next week, actually by the time we record our next episode, I'm going to have spent a few days in a Lotus Emira. Oh, finally! I mean, I've only been waiting 6 months, 9 months, something like that. Partly through my own fault. The initial press drives that happened at the beginning of the year or in the spring, which I think were still with prototype cars, I wasn't around to do. And I said, oh, look, it's not really my thing anyway. Apart from a few cars, I don't tend to go on too many big launch events. Having just said that I'm going on the Puro Sangue. But anyway, I prefer to wait and get the car for a bit more time, have more time
to go for a coffee in one.
I like to go for a coffee in one, do my own thing. Exactly. Like those press drives are often so constrained that for me, I'm like, I'm an artist. I want to do more. But yes, I missed that. And I said, I'll wait and I'll drive the car at the end of the summer and do something cool with it. And then like every manufacturer in the world, Lotus got hit with production delays. So I'm a man who knows about production delays. Look at the GT3. So it kept getting pushed back. We kept putting dates in the diary, push back. And now, Shmee's got his, Harry Metcalf's got his. So I'm a bit late to the game, but I don't really care. I don't really care. I'm really intrigued and excited, actually.
Well, good. I'm glad one of us is.
Well, because we've been through every emotion with that car. Like
I haven't.
Well, you haven't. From day one, you've been
not interested.
Actually, to be fair, when the launch photos came out and the launch info came out, you were very excited at my wedding. You know what happened.
Yeah. I know what happened.
Won't repeat that. Maybe we did already tell that story, but anyway. When you first saw info and found out about that car, you were excited. Yeah. And when you saw it at Goodwood, you got disappointed. And from then on, you've been like, boring.
Yeah, because I actually saw it in the actual flesh.
Yeah. So, but from day one, I was excited. And then I went through a bit of and now I'm excited again. And I want to get behind the wheel and see what it's all about. So right. I think maybe not next week, but the week after, we'll chat about my experience with that car, I think. So exciting things ahead in the next few weeks. And of course, Christmas any day now.
I know.
For those of you who have joined us for our first live stream, hopefully we'll be back for another one next week. And then over Christmas, I'm not entirely sure. We might do a few pre-recorded episodes because you're going away for a few days. Mm-hmm. I've got some family commitments. So we may pre-record and put some out. So we may miss a few live streams, but we'll let you know. And then, of course, live streams will continue thick and fast in the new year when, maybe I could live stream my GT3 collection. Hello.
You could reveal it on Behind the Glass.
I think I might do an exclusive spec reveal.
Yeah,
Behind the Glass that will go out a few days before the video. I think that's the plan, is to do a spec reveal on the podcast. So subscribe now. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. You don't want to miss it. Let's just double check there's no other final questions before we sign off today. Marcus Philpott wants to know, are you still dailing the Roma?
No.
No? Oh, what happened? Gone?
Well, no. It's not gone. I just don't use it, mate.
Well, because of the weather, or just
in general? Like I shouldn't have bought that car.
Oh my god!
No, I do.
Where's this come from?
I do like it. I've put it up for sale.
Oh,
I do like. So if anyone wants a really high spec Roma, it's on the website, by the way. It's
one careful lady driver.
One of the well, it is, mate. I've barely driven it. I've done 600 miles in it. I've had it 3 months. I've not used it, and this is the problem I have with having a car for this country for me. And it happens to me all the time, which is why they go on the website. I buy a car, I'm going to use that. The problem is I've got 50 other cars at work I can choose from.
Oh, of course.
That's what I'm saying, and this is the problem. Like,
you don't need a nice car to drive around in every day.
No, because I use my van every day for work, and at the weekend I've got the pick of whatever I want to use. So at the moment I'm using the RS6. So what do I need? The Roma's less practical. It's not anywhere near as nice in this weather to use. It's a bit of a ball ache. You know what I mean? So the infotainment system is nowhere as good as the Audi either.
Tony, the car hater, strikes again.
So no. I really wish that I'd been able to give that car a bit more of a chance, because I do really like it. I love it when I get in it and I drive it, but I just don't use it because I don't use fast cars in this country. I just don't use them.
So it's now available at the bargain price of $100,000 over list over at Gravelwood Car Sales.
It's actually really good value, that car.
Of course you'd say that.
No. Just wait a minute, will you? Because it was nearly $260,000 list.
Right.
It's like $50,000 under list. It's still like a brand new car.
And if you use the discount code behind the glass, you get £100 off. Make sure to tag us. But anyway, I think that's a good time to wrap up this week's episode. It's been an interesting insight into the world of forthcoming M2s, but also good to chat about GT3 and F Pace SVR car, which, despite everything we said, I do think is often overlooked. Yes, if you've watched us live over on Recast, thanks for tuning in. If you're intrigued by Recast or you want to watch our next live streamed recording session, there's always a link in the description below. You can go and sign up and book your place, buy your place, or buy tickets even for our next online live stream. Obviously, there's also bonus content over there, after the checkered flag, and early access to episodes. If you want to follow Tony on social media, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales. I'm at Seen Through Glass, and we'll be back with you maybe for a Christmas special next week. God, that'd be exciting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and if you want a car over Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, pop on the website, have a look. Might have something that you might fancy, put under the tree.
And don't forget, £100 off, hashtag behind the glass. We'll catch up with you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.